We need to get better about doing these, and that was actually what brought us to this video, is God has really been on us
Just get back to doing them.
get back to doing them, not only posting them, because at the time of filming this video, we are over a year behind in posting the videos. And some people might ask, well, why don't you just start them right now? Well, because
understand how to get here.
the people who've been following us from the time we started vlogging are very invested in our story, and we're very grateful that they're so supportive and so invested and so just kind and want to know what's happened to us. That I know if we were to start from present day and not vlog any of the past stuff that we already have like just sitting in our files, there would be a lot of questions. Well, like, how did this happen? Well, what about this? Well, how does that happen if this happened? Like, there's just too many questions that we would have to try to answer that we already have videos for that explain all the answers for everybody, and it just makes more sense. And so I have been working in the business to try to start systems and workflows to where I have more time to work on my real job, and the real job is sharing the story. And so we're right there at this point where after this month, there's really not going to be any excuse for me to not share the story other than I'm scared to come back after so long of not talking. And that's not really a valid excuse.
You know, maybe we should cut this one video and put it in front of everything else.
Yeah, that might be a good idea.
And then also include it in the current timeline.
All right, so to take Darrin's advice, today is August 10th, 2022.
2022.
And
it's been a ride.
we're going.
I'm about to. I'm probably about to go to bed, and it's been about
Stop stepping on my foot.
It's been about a month since we've done an update. That's kind of unfortunate for us.
Hey, easy.
But things have been absolutely insane, and we have not had a moment to stop.
So bad.
So the last video you guys saw, we got dog bit. That was fun.
Wish my thumb can move again, guys. It still kind of sticks out when it happens, but they said that could happen and it might just be like scar tissue build up. But yeah, my thumb can move and I have feeling in it, and so we're not worried about tendon or nerve damage. It's got flexibility back. So. Okay, Milo, if you keep hitting Mama with the toy, Mama's going to take the toy away. Drop
House
it.
of De La Myers.
Drop it. Thank you. Good boy.
All the dogs going to get it. All right, so I keep meticulous notes of all the goings and comings, just for my own personal record.
We actually have it tracked with our finances. Like,
yeah, so I get to
we
watch.
got diagnosed with cancer, dip in finances.
Yeah, so
I
get to
a
watch.
Donation, up in finances.
Yeah, I get to watch all the crazy stuff and how
literally map our life out.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. It makes me happy because I like flowcharts, and I like, well, not just flowcharts, but I like charts.
He loves Excel. He can play around in Excel all day long.
I'm really good with Excel. That's the thing. Like, not as good as like, you know what? Never mind. Okay, so
we need to get better about doing these, and that was actually what brought us to this video. Is God has really been on us
just get back to doing them.
get back to doing them, not only posting them, because at the time of filming this video, we are over a year behind in posting the videos. And some people might ask, well, why don't you just start them right now? Well, because
understand how to get here.
the people who've been following us from the time we started vlogging are very invested in our story, and we're very grateful that they're so supportive and so invested and so just kind and want to know what's happened to us. That I know if we were to start from present day and not vlog any of the past stuff that we already have like just sitting in our files, there would be a lot of questions. Well, like, how did this happen? Well, what about this? Well, how does that happen if this happened? Like, there's just too many questions that we would have to try to answer that we already have videos for that explain all the answers for everybody, and it just makes more sense. And so I have been working in the business to try to start systems and workflows to where I have more time to work on my real job, and the real job is sharing the story. And so we're right there at this point where after this month, there's really not going to be any excuse for me to not share the story other than I'm scared to come back after so long of not talking. And that's not really a valid excuse.
You know, maybe we should cut this, like this one video, and put it in front of everything else.
Yeah, that might be a good idea.
And then also include it, like,
Yeah.
in
So,
the current timeline.
all right, so to take Darrin's advice, today is August
Oh, yeah.
10th, 2022.
2022.
And
It's been a ride.
we're going to share this video, and then we're going to start sharing the story again. And that sounds really scary for me, and I feel like I really need to post this video to hold myself accountable, like tonight.
Oh, good
because
grief.
if I don't do it tonight, then I will continue to make excuses to not publish anything. And so, y'all hold me accountable. It might be after midnight, but I'm serious. I'm going to push this video live tonight.
Okay, so
And then we'll share all the stuff that's happened that we have on video up until this point.
yeah, we've been videoing for the entire year that we haven't been
Some of the later stuff,
posting them.
Yeah, some of the later stuff is a little more sporadic, but it's still been consistently videoed, and we need to get back to doing it more and doing it better. So this is kind of a catch-up video and a prequel to what's about to come. Okay.
All right, so last video in the real timeline, right? We talked about the dog fight and what happened with Brittany.
The last video that was posted, I was just leaving the hospital for the first time after my first surgery.
We should probably do a cut and just put that little like 3-minute video for the
No, I'll just do it like this. I'll just post this entire video, no editing.
no editing.
And
Lovely. Milo likes that.
Yeah, y'all don't even know Milo. Milo's our new dog.
That's a whole thing.
Yeah, that's a story.
That happened in November, right?
Yeah, it's almost been a year since we've had him now. I think it was September or
Gosh.
October. I don't know, somewhere. It was.
If it was September, it's been a year.
Yeah, it's almost been a year. But anyway, so yeah. In real-time videos, the last thing that we videoed was about the 4th of July, how I wasn't feeling good, we got into a dog fight, I rescued my dogs, and I've been healing with my thumb. And in the time that we're posting timeline, the last thing that happened is y'all saw me coming to the hotel, being released from the hospital after my first surgery, to the hotel to recover before we traveled home and did the rest of surgery recovery from home. And that was when was my first surgery? What was it? June? May? No, I think it was June. I think it was June of 2021. Because my second surgery was during our anniversary, which was in July.
They don't even know about the second surgery.
Oh yeah, we had a second surgery. There's a lot to catch
There's a
you
lot
up
to
on.
catch you up on.
Okay, now getting back to what Darrin said about what's happening right now.
All right, since the dog bite, it's been about a month since we've done a video, so we wanted to catch everybody up. The people who
Are in current time and
oh gosh, this really hurts. This is worse than like the MCU and like all the.
I know we've become our own multi-universe guys. So the last video was July 4th when we were talking about the dog fight where I got injured. I'm healed from that. Thumb can move.
On the 19th, that was on the July 4th. On July 19th, I wrote that her body still is in terrible pain, even though the dog bites are healing. At this point, she had stopped eating. She could not eat because of the antibiotics. She was on them for about a week. I
was on them for 10 days, and the antibiotics were really, really hard on my body. They put me on antibiotics because they wanted to make sure that nothing did get infected. So nothing was infected to begin with because we immediately cleaned it up from the dog bite and everything and immediately went to the doctor. And so nothing was wrong. But to prevent anything from happening, because my immune system is so low, they opted to put me on antibiotics because dog bites are really prone to infections. And I guess being on the antibiotics but not actually having a virus or something wrong in my system, like overshot my system. And I was literally like, I had uncontrollable bowels. Like I was literally having to wear diapers to bed because I literally would not wake up. And I would wake up in the middle of the night and like we would have to change the sheets, and I literally could not tell when I was going to go to the bathroom. And so, yeah, which figured out later on that also gave me chafing down there. And so I literally got diaper rash because I couldn't wake up. Like I was asleep when a lot of my accidents would happen, and I wouldn't find them until the morning. And so who knows how long I was just sitting there in my own film. And it was not a good mental place for me to be at all. Like it took a big toll on me, a really, really big toll. And on top of that, it just made me feel like I felt like I had a fever, even though I didn't. I was feverish, I was weak, my joints hurt, like it was bad.
So, right around that point, that was 7/19, 7/19, 2022. Then at about 3 days later, 7/22, the antibiotics had gotten out of your system and you started to eat again. And like, that's where I was, because me and my obsession with you eating, which is a long and arduous struggle that I've been trying to get better about. But yeah, like
Darrin being okay is like directly tied to whether I'm eating or not.
Yeah. So I'm trying to get better about this.
Like I am not okay unless I'm eating, and as soon as I stop eating, even if it's just for a day, he starts like freaking out and gets all in his head, gets all worried. I'm like, baby, I go through phases. Like I always end up eating again. I always end up gaining the weight back, but my body just won't let me eat right now. And it will be like that for a week. And the entire week, he's like, the world is ending.
Yep.
And I think it has to do with when your idol's eating food, though.
Probably.
Like, that's something that you really cling to. Because I am not a stress eater, but Darrin is. And so, for me to be hurting and stressed out and in pain and not eating, he just doesn't get it. It doesn't make sense to him. He's like, this should be when you're eating the most. You're in pain.
Right. But also, at this crazy moment in time, the business officially started turning a profit.
Around this 7/22.
7/22. It was officially our expenditures equaled our profit. So, but as soon as we reached that point, we had more things that we had to outsource. So we're back to a negative again. But it was like a good moment. Like, hey, it's still working. It's still improving.
Which we knew was going to happen within the business. Like we were prepared to not take an income from the business after the shift in the business from photography to blogging. Like one of the things that's really common in small businesses is usually you don't turn a profit for like 3 years. And so essentially we were starting this brand new business. Now we had the advantage of we already had an established business to kind of catapult off of, and it was even in the same industry, which is why we're so, along with God's blessing obviously, why we're kind of ahead of the game in this matter. But we didn't expect to turn any kind of significant profit or anything. We wanted to break even because with the new structure in the business and me not being able to work as much, we went from the income being solely based off of when I could take sessions to our income being centered around what Darrin and I could accomplish together, but also what we, for the sake of my health, had to outsource to other people so that it never got out of control and so that we could serve our clients well. And so we were actually outsourcing things in the business, which for those of you who don't know business stuff, outsourcing is hiring somebody else to do a task that they can do just as well, if not better than you. And so you might outsource your accounting. Some photographers outsource their editing and they teach somebody else how to edit for them. That way they can spend more time on their business doing things that are profitable and doing things that actually grow their business rather than maintain their business. So anyways, with the business, we knew that we would be outsourcing a lot, especially in the front, because we wanted to have those things outsourced from the ground up, because we didn't want to add extra onto me. And so anytime we get to a point where I'm having to take on too much work, we outsource more and we outsource more in order to make sure that the longevity of the business can be there and not break me, because that's the whole reason we started this side of the business, was to make sure that it would work with my health, and I wouldn't have to put myself in a position where I'm physically harming myself just to serve our clients. So, yeah, I'm done.
Okay. No, you're fine, David. You're fine. So the business officially made a profit, and then officially did not make a profit.
Because we immediately hired everybody to do everything.
Right. And then, so that was 7/22. Right around 8/02,
August 2nd,
I got diagnosed with COVID.
Milo.
That's perfect for COVID moment. Get dog butt on the screen. I got COVID, which of course, I was extremely careful with Brittany. I did not really get. It wasn't too bad. I got a little bit of a fever, got some cough and some congestion. That's really it.
And the thing was that I was already exposed because his came on really quickly. He was perfectly fine on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday morning he was fine too. And it was by Monday afternoon when he got home from work that he crashed. And so there was no warning signs.
Yeah.
The only thing he mentioned on Sunday is feeling tired, but hello, our life. We're always tired. And so I told him, go to bed early. That was my solution. So there was no warning. So we had spent the entire weekend together. And so, yeah. But starting Monday.
So hold on.
What?
Go ahead.
Starting Monday is when we started heavily isolating from each other.
Okay. So that would be 8/2 is whenever I got diagnosed. And then they told me, stay home from work for a week. So I'm like, yay, stay home from work, and I sit at home. And then at about 8/5, Brittany ran out of her pain medication.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So
and nowhere in our town.
Well, that's coming up next.
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry.
So 8/4, she ran out of her pain medication, and we had a refill, and
the doctors refilled the medication,
Right.
sent it to the pharmacy.
And then,
Well, actually, we refilled the medication before we were out.
correct.
And they sent it before we were out. And then I ran out, expecting to have it at the pharmacy because that's how things work.
So we go to pick up the meds. She goes to pick up the meds, and they are unable to fill it because they run out of medication. Okay, well, we still got some extra pills of our pain meds floating around. We can kind of scrounge stuff together and make it work.
We had a lower dose because I was on 10 milligram and now I'm on 20. And so we had some of our 10 milligram that I was just taking two times of to equal the 20 milligram. And so it wasn't that big of a deal because that's what the doctors told us to do.
Well, it didn't last.
Yeah.
Because the entire town of Vicksburg had a run.
It didn't last because
our entire town wound up completely and totally unable to get shipments of this particular drug. So
literally
we called every pharmacy in the town. And
nobody had it. And our main pharmacy that we usually go through, CVS, they told us oh yeah, we have it by this day. And we're like, all right, that's just half a day off, we can do that. We'd go in, nope, we don't have it today, try this day. And they just kept on pushing it back over and over and over again.
So by 8/8, Brittany is diagnosed with COVID. And she...
So I'm already feeling complete total crap.
Right. So at this point, she's no longer on her pain medication, and she gets COVID.
And now I'm having withdrawal symptoms.
I'm still getting there.
I'm sorry. I thought that was the next thing.
No.
Sorry, I ruined the story.
Yes. You're ruining my story, baby.
Okay.
I tell you, I have it all in the list.
Start over. 8/8.
All right, 8/8. Brittany is diagnosed with COVID, and thankfully, because her immune system is so shot that the doc's basically oh, well, yeah, you're not going to get any worse. And all she had was a sore throat.
That was the worst of it.
And a little bit of a fever.
I don't have a fever anymore.
Well, you had one at 8/8.
Yeah, I ran a fever for 2.5 days. But mine was actually less than Darrin's, which we were not expecting. I still have a cough and a little bit of drainage, and my nose is really runny and stuffy, so sinus issues are still a problem for me. And I'm still really, really tired, but that comes into another part of what Darrin wants to say too. But yeah, so technically right now, today is 8/10, I'm still recovering from COVID, but I'm technically no longer even contagious with COVID. So, but I'm still isolating because we always isolate extra long and extra safe with me. So.
Yep. So, So it doesn't affect her as nearly as much as we thought it was going to, just because her body's so weak, so kind of like, yay, cancer, I guess. That's kind of the things you never thought you'd say, right?
My body is so weak and my immune system is so compromised anyways that I got a sickness that was supposed to attack my immune system. Like it would attack a healthy person's immune system and make them feel like horrible. But because I feel so horrible on a day-to-day basis anyways, my body didn't have any extra horribleness to give me. And so my COVID was super minor because there was no more horrible to give.
Long and short of it. Yeah. All right, so that was 8/8. Also,
which is also the same day.
8/8 p.m. You start detoxing. You hit the peak of your detox, and you start vomiting and shivering and that was
nightmares and
it was a bad. Oh, I didn't hear about the nightmares.
Oh yeah, I had nightmares and hallucinations. I thought that my dead abuser was walking past the window.
You didn't tell me about all this.
Yeah, like while I was sitting down, like I could have swore he was walking past the window. I could have swore I saw him in the kitchen. It's like where our dining room is. There's a window. Dining room sits right here. This is our square table. A window is right here, and then like on the other side of the dining room is the kitchen. And so, and this wall is where the fridge is. And so I could have swore I saw him like peeking behind the fridge. I saw him walking through our garden in front of the dining room. And I would like see stuff out of the corner of my eye, and like it would be his shape, his body. And like I said, he's dead and has been for several years now. And so the logistical side, like the logical side of me knew that it wasn't true and knew that it was just because I was having symptoms right now. But yeah, the nightmares were really bad. And I was dreaming about both of my abusers together in my nightmares, but only hallucinating one of them. And the vomiting was bad. The vomiting was bad because every time, like, it would get stuck in my throat and in my nose, and so it made it really hard for me to like cough up, and I choked a lot. The shivering was bad. I would have hot and cold flashes. And then the thing that I'm still dealing with now is the extreme joint and muscle pain. Like,
I'm not sure if that's actually part of it or not.
The joint.
None of the withdrawal symptoms have that.
The joint pain is like.
You sure?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll have to relook at that. I didn't see that.
Yeah, because my mom used to have complain about the joint pain. Yeah.
Okay.
My mother's a recovering addict, so. Yeah.
And then.
Been sober now, by the way.
So that was 8 p.m. 8/9, CVS refilled the meds. Yay, praise
Finally.
God.
Yes. I thought I was going to have to call the doctor and be like, look, now I've been off these meds for 4 days. And I was like, I hated it because I was like, it's not like we were trying to stay off the meds, but at the same time, like, they're filling the medication for me from MD Anderson, and so it's across state lines, and so like they have certain guidelines that like they like can't
they can't just ship it to you.
Just ship it to me.
Yeah.
And so like I was literally in a stuck 22 position where like
a stuck 22.
A stuck 22? What is it? Catch 22. A catch 22 position because I couldn't call my doctor and be like, hey, prescribe me more meds because they'd already prescribed them to me, and I couldn't say, hey, ship it because
they can't
the
ship
prescription was already in process here, and because they can't ship it. And so I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, it's, yeah.
I had some friends of mine who know pharmacists out of state who like, hey, they're connected all over the place, so let me see if we can source some from you from different pharmacies.
Yeah, they were like, there's a pharmaceutical.
And no sooner than that friend, I gave the friend the go ahead. Yeah, start looking, whatever.
Like they were literally going to like specially ship some to our CVS pharmacy from out of state.
She gets I guess it's a message you get?
Yeah, they call me right before, CVS calls me while I'm sleeping, right before they close, because they close at like 8 o'clock, and I got the call at like 7:45 p.m. And so they call me at 7:45 p.m., leaving a voicemail saying, this is a courtesy call that we got the prescription in, and it will be ready to pick up tomorrow. And I didn't realize that I had a missed call until I was going to call my doctors and say, hey, I can't get my prescription, what do I do? And it was then that I realized I had a missed call and voicemail, and so I listened to it, and it just so happened to be CVS calling me late the night before. So I immediately called CVS, and I was like, look, y'all's voice message just said that y'all would have it ready, but I've heard this story before like 3 times in the past week that it would be ready, and then we get there, and you say that you're out of stock. So is my prescription ready? And they're like, let me check. Yes, it is already ready. It is already filled in the package, ready for you to pick up.
And then I called to verify.
Because Darrin was at work, and we only have one car, and so he was going to have to wait till after work to go pick it up.
No, I was going to go home immediately, but you told me no.
I told him no. But yeah, so he had to go by after work, and he called to make sure too. And we got the meds, and I'm on an upward track now, I hope.
And then the last thing on 8-9, also on 8-9, is we need we need more employees for the business because of the thing.
More contractors.
Yeah. So we're like,
we need to outsource more.
Yeah.
Because God has been amazing in blessing us with clients who particularly want to work with us, but we've reached a point where we can't take any more work on unless we hire more people to help us with that work. And so we're in, again, a catch-22 where if we take on more clients right now, we're not going to be able to serve them the way that we promise to serve them. But we are just like, we're in the green right now, but it's not technically green enough to cover the entire cost of the additional employee. And so we've got to work out a math balancing system to where we take on
finish that story.
Take on enough clients to bring in enough income to break even again without losing money and without turning away clients while still serving them. It's a big,
yeah. That was like a 30-minute video, so.
Well, yes, it's going to be a while uploading it.
Yeah, and I am going to have to go to bed because it is 11 o'clock and I was supposed to go to bed an hour, 30 minutes ago, so.
It's 11 o'clock, so this video might be posted after midnight, but I meant it. I'm going to post this video tonight so that I don't have any excuse not to get back to posting anymore. I'm doing it to hold myself accountable. I found that is the best way for me to do stuff. I've been meaning to commit to meeting with ladies from the church and doing a Bible study and getting that set up. And so I made the commitment that would force me to follow through. And I said, y'all can use my house. And so once we are completely over COVID, I'm starting a Bible study at my house to follow through on me telling God that I was going to be more involved with the local women in my church and actually invest time into building godly relationships like I haven't done in a long time and like I know I need to do, because He calls us to be a community and to be there for...
That's what the church is.
That's what a church is. He calls us to be there for other Christians and to truly walk through life together. And I can't do that if I'm isolating myself in a bubble. And one of the problems that we've run into at the church is finding a time and place that people can meet. And we don't have an extra car, so I'm home all day, every day. And our house doesn't close at 6 p.m. like the coffee shops do. And so
which makes no sense.
I know, I don't know why the coffee shops don't stay open past 6, but so basically I have told people that we can vote every week on the time and day, and so some days it might be Monday, some days it will be Friday, some days it will be Tuesday. And that's just how we're going to do it. And we have no idea what we're studying yet, but I did actually invite somebody outside of the church already. I didn't tell you that today.
No.
Somebody made a Facebook post basically asking like, hey, I need some more Christian women in my life, and I really want to start building relationships and, investing in relationships like this. It was one of my old makeup artists that I used.
Oh. Locally?
Yeah.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
One of my old makeup artists, and so I reached out to her and was like, hey, I'm actually in the process of starting a Bible study. We don't know what we're going to study yet or when it's going to be, but it is starting. So if you want to join us, come on over. You know where I live. And Darrin and I have both made an effort to get involved with another couple in the church that we've been meaning to do for a long time.
Who they're probably watching this video right now.
Yeah, you might be watching this video. But we have both been struggling. Milo, get your butt out of the camera. Sit down. Darrin and I both realized that since the cancer diagnosis, it's hard for us to form relationships and godly relationships and really be real and honest and open with people, because it's hard for people to understand what we go through. And we're now in a position where this is our life. We can no longer say, oh, well, it's because we have cancer. Like, this is how our life is. It's just like you having a job. Like, people expect you to have a job because that's how you do things in life. And now we've reached a point where we're trying to live, and we're trying to live with cancer. And that means that
Getting back to living.
And
we haven't done that for a year and a half because
and that's terrifying.
We've been exhausted and
waiting for the other shoe to drop, because it always does.
And always, the next thing to come is
another disaster.
And you literally have to, all right, I don't know what's going to happen, but I need a break. I need to rest. I need to sleep. That way I can be prepared for when this thing happens. And then sure enough, 3 days later, all right, I'm ready for it now, Which, of course, you're never really ready for it, no matter how much rest and how much rest you get.
But, we realized, all right, cancer can no longer be an excuse for us to not follow God's word and follow all of God's word. Like, we did really good with the cancer when we were diagnosed. It taught us how to pray. It taught us, hey, teeth, easy. No teeth, puppy. He's still a puppy. Yeah, like, he's a year and a half. Maybe coming up on 2 now. But his first year, he didn't get to really be a puppy because he was locked in the crate a lot. And so, yeah, he's very excited that he gets to be a real puppy now. Puppy teeth and all. But anyways, like,
back to story.
with everything that's happened, we got really good at digging into our word and praying and trusting God, because it was the only thing we could do. And we neglected building relationships because we thought it was so pointless, because it's not like we could ever do anything. It's not like we ever had the time or energy, and it's not like we could be the giver in a relationship. We were always the people that needed somebody else. We couldn't be there for somebody else who needed us, other than through more prayer. And so during the last year and a half, our relationships have struggled because nobody understood. It changed our life, and there are still relationships that we have that are suffering because they see us as cancer patients. They see us as not Darrin and Brittany like we used to be. It's Darrin and Brittany with cancer. And that's really hard for us, because we're still Darrin and Brittany, even though we have cancer.
And what's really funny is the people who are watching this in the timeline, they haven't seen the shift. They haven't seen it yet. So they just get like, oh, Brittany's having this surgery and she's like loopy and like, talking about thunder and lightning, and here we are a year later going, we're living with cancer.
There's a lot to catch you up on.
There's a lot to catch you up on. But for those of you that have been with us, because Brittany has posted all these videos up until this point, now this stuff makes sense. So
I am going to be posting a lot of unedited videos. I will probably not be putting as many clips together, so I'll just be doing them like one clip at a time. So one clip might be a 10-minute video, while the next video might be 30 minutes, like this one. But I need to start posting again, and I need you to hold me accountable.
As long as it doesn't get in the way of all the things that we should be doing. Like devotionals, like I should be reading with you, and I haven't been lately, and I've been feeling really bad about that. So it's another thing that I need to.
We're struggling.
Yeah.
We're struggling, but
we try, and it's God always calls us back to.
I've learned with me, I have to hold myself accountable by pushing myself outside my comfort zone and committing to something that I don't feel ready to commit to, because
you'll never feel ready.
I'll never feel ready, and I feel like I've never had enough time, but I do always want to do my best to follow through with commitments. And so if I make a commitment, I want to follow through, and so that's why I'm making commitments, and I'm speaking to you like I am in this video and volunteering my house for Bible study. Not because I'm ready, not because I think that I'm capable, not because I think that it's going to happen, but because now other people have heard me say it. And so other people will be asking me, hey, are you actually doing this? Hey, are you actually following through on your word? And it's a challenge. It's a struggle. Every day it's a struggle.
Every day I'm struggling.
You need to go to bed.
I do.
All right. Well,
Myers out.
good night, guys. We will see you in the next video.
Well, some of you will see the video
They will see the next video, whether it's the next video in current timeline or the next video in the past timeline.
because you got to post this video twice. You realize that?
Yeah, I know.
Just say.
You'll see this video one day. You will see this video.